This orange tabby had survived a car accident, but what happened next destroyed him in ways the crash never could. And when you see what turned his life around, you'll understand why some bonds run deeper than we ever imagined. BenBen's face told you everything. Those droopy eyes, that permanently sad expression. This wasn't just a cat having a bad day. This was a cat who'd given up. The accident had left him with crushed vertebrae, severe facial injuries, and nerve damage that pulled his features into a look of constant sadness. But here's what the shelter staff noticed. Even when his physical wounds started healing, that expression never changed. Like something inside him had broken worse than any bone. He'd been at the shelter for weeks. Nobody wanted him, and honestly, you could understand why. He couldn't walk properly, dragged his back legs, needed expensive ongoing medical care. His face looked perpetually miserable. Other cats got adopted. Kittens went home in days. BenBen watched them all leave from his cage in the corner, the one nobody stopped at, the one people walked past while saying, "Oh, that poor thing," before moving on to happier, easier choices. The vets had a meeting about him. That's never good. When medical staff gather to discuss one specific animal, it usually means they're calculating whether life is worth living anymore. His pain seemed manageable with medication, but his spirit? That was dying faster than his body ever could. He stopped eating unless staff hand-fed him, stopped grooming, stopped doing anything except lying there with those sad, droopy eyes staring at nothing. Now here's where you need to pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you challenges everything we think we know about animal emotions and healing. If you believe animals feel deeper than we give them credit for, that they experience grief and loss and hopelessness just like we do, hit that subscribe button right now, because BenBen's story proves it in ways that'll make you rethink everything. Then they showed up. A couple who'd been following the shelters page, who'd seen BenBen's photo weeks ago and couldn't stop thinking about him. They weren't looking for easy. They weren't looking for perfect. They were looking for the one nobody else wanted, the overlooked, the broken, the supposedly hopeless case. When they asked to meet him, the shelter staff were honest. He's not doing well. He's in pain. He'll need medications for life. He might not have much time left. Are you sure you want to take this on? But here's the thing about some people. They don't measure worth by convenience. They don't calculate love by cost. They see a living being who's suffering and think, maybe we can help. Maybe that's enough reason. The adoption paperwork came with warnings, disclaimers, medical histories. They signed everything, paid the fees, gathered him carefully from his cage. BenBen didn't react. Didn't purr, didn't meow, just hung limply in their arms like he'd stopped expecting anything good to happen ever again. The car ride home was silent. His new owners kept checking on him in the carrier, whispering reassurances he probably didn't believe. They'd set up a room for him, soft beds, gentle lighting, everything positioned low since he couldn't jump. They placed him on a cushion and stepped back, giving him space. For the first 2 days, nothing changed. He barely moved, ate only when encouraged. That sad expression remained fixed on his face. They started wondering if they'd made a mistake, if bringing him home had just prolonged suffering in a different location. Then, on day 3, something shifted. Something so subtle you might have missed it. When his new mom sat beside him reading, he lifted his head slightly. Not much, just enough to see her better. She noticed and started talking to him softly, telling her about her day, about the neighbors, about nothing important. But he listened. You could see it in how his ears tracked her voice. By day 5, the real transformation began. She came into his room one morning and found him sitting up, actually sitting, not just lying in defeated collapse. His eyes, still droopy, still damaged from the accident, were brighter somehow, alert. "Hey, BenBen," she said softly, and he meowed back. A small, rusty sound, like he'd forgotten how his voice worked. But he'd used it. He'd responded. He'd chosen to communicate. Week 2 brought the moment that made her cry. She was sitting on the floor, scrolling through her phone, when she felt something against her leg. BenBen had dragged himself across the room, back legs still not working right, movement awkward and effortful, just to be near her. He pressed his face against her knee and started purring. That deep, rattling purr that means a cat feels safe, feels loved, feels like life might actually be worth fighting for. The physical changes came gradually. His coat, which had been dull and patchy, started regaining its vibrant orange color. Those distinctive tabby markings became more defined. He gained weight, filled out, started looking less like a skeleton covered in fur. But the biggest change? His spirit, that indefinable thing that makes the difference between existing and living. He started exploring. Awkward and unsteady, yes, but moving with purpose. He discovered sunny window spots and claimed them, found toys and batted at them with surprising enthusiasm, started greeting them at the door when they came home, that characteristic orange tail pointing straight up in the wobbly cat equivalent of joy. 3 months in, something remarkable happened. BenBen started playing, actually playing, pouncing on toy mice, chasing string, doing all the things the shelter staff thought he'd never do again. His back legs still didn't work perfectly, his face still carried that sad expression from nerve damage, but if you watched him zoom around the living room at 3 a.m., if you saw him demand breakfast with insistent meows, if you noticed how he followed his humans from room to room just to be near them, you'd know this wasn't the same cat. His mom posted updates online. The response was overwhelming. Thousands of people who'd never met BenBen celebrated every milestone. Every photo of him playing, every video of him purring, every image of that sad face actually looking content proved something powerful. Animals don't need perfect bodies to live full lives. They need love. They need patience. They need someone willing to see past the broken parts to the soul underneath. But here's what she thinks about sometimes. BenBen was hours away from euthanasia, hours away from becoming a statistic, a sad story, another unadoptable case that nobody wanted to handle. His survival, his transformation, his rediscovered joy, all of it hinged on 2 people choosing complicated over convenient. So here's my question for you, and I want you to really think about it. If you'd walked into that shelter and seen BenBen in his cage, injured, sad-faced, supposedly hopeless, would you have stopped? Would you have chosen the broken one when easier options surrounded you? Would you have believed that underneath all that pain was a cat capable of this much love, this much joy, this much life? Because animals like BenBen exist everywhere, in shelters right now, in rescue pages you scroll past, in the special needs sections nobody clicks on. All of them waiting for someone to see past the damage, past the difficulties, past the sad faces, to the possibility underneath. What would you do?